Do you see it as more of a long-term investment, or are we being fooled?
If I would be invested in XRP right now,
Could we have done this a few years ago?
can't say it exactly, but I would say it was above $120,000.
How do we create an investing process?
The first rule that you should have is,
I think it's this obsession. What is the one skill that made you successful in crypto? Question number one, Robin. There's a lot of noise and hype around XRP, yet despite positive developments, the price doesn't seem to move much. Do you see it as more of a long-term investment, or are we being fooled?
all right, I will directly get some friends with the first question. So what is the fundamental value of XRP? For me personally, it lies in its community, because the community is extremely stubborn. Like, they don't listen to any other opinions that are against XRP. So this is also its strength. So the community is actually very, very strong. So for me personally, if I would be invested in XRP right now, I would look for an event which creates a lot of hype in this specific community, and I would exit then. To make it very short, the ETF launch, which is really, really likely. But what will happen when the ETF launches? Nobody knows. Because the real value of XRP is very likely much lower than the current value. And what will happen when the ETF launches, a lot of people expect institutions to jump onto XRP. But the same is true for the situation that we had with Ethereum. A lot of people thought, okay, now institutions will buy Ethereum, and the inflows were very, very low. And the reason for that is very simple. When you have a tech bet, also in stocks, you invest as a hedge fund, as a big institutional investor, you invest with a long time horizon. And when you look at the solution that XRP provides, okay, they have maybe some value. But how likely is it that they will stay number one at what they're currently doing? And the problem that XRP has, that it has like very, very strong competition, not just in crypto, but also in the centralized world. So for me as a high-risk investor, and crypto is still a high-risk investment, it wouldn't make sense to bet onto that as an institutional investor. And for me right now, my short-term thesis would be the ETF or the ETF launch. And then as a long-term hold, it would be too risky for me. And the risk to reward ratio is off. Like, there are so much like better opportunities out there. So yeah, this is my opinion on XRP.
Yeah, so for me, I've researched it. I know what it is, and it's fundamentally completely useless. So for me, it falls into the same category as meme coins and all other 100% speculative assets. So does it have fundamentals? No. Will I trade it and maybe hold it for a few weeks? Yes, probably, as I did and will do with meme coins. So yeah, do you see it as a more long-term investment, or are we being fooled? Yeah, you're being fooled. I'm not holding that shit for long. But yeah, that's all I have to say.
It could make you money, but just understand what your thesis is. It's not going to change the world.
All right.
Maybe we come back in 10 years and say, damn,
we were wrong.
But I think the probability for that is very low.
Yeah, but even if it does, we're going to trade it and hold it.
That's true. So we
will profit from it anyways.
Yeah, just with a realistic view.
Yeah.
All right. Next question.
Which narratives are you currently interested in? Have the major narratives changed since the end of last year? Are there interesting niches within specific narratives? Okay, these are 3 questions into one. So let's start with the first one, which is, which narratives are you currently interested in?
So for me, narratives are always a thing that I evaluate in the moment when we turn from bear market to bull market. So there are categories, and a narrative gets created once a specific category goes up a lot. And this narrative is just like a story that people tell about why this specific category goes up. But this is just like terminology. So what narratives do I like? I personally think that AI still has a lot of potential. Just because people continue to talk about it, it will continue to change the world, and everyone will feel an impact of AI in no matter which work area you're currently in, also in your personal life. So AI is definitely interesting. And then, like, I just try to see where the attention is flowing. Like, I try to be active in every category there is, and we do that with CryptoGameplan. So just be active, or I'm just active in everything. And once I see prices going up, this will kick off reflexivity, which will kick off a narrative. So this is my opinion.
So yeah, I agree with you. I like AI as well. I think AI is going through a huge adoption phase. It came out in 2023, and if I look at it on a zoomed out perspective, it ticks every box of an exponential moving technology.
Yeah.
So it reminds me of like the internet, of Bitcoin in its early stages, and it's going to be very volatile. And at the moment, we had a huge bubble, the first one. And I believe the first correction is underway, but it's going to come back and it's going to move exponentially and it's going to melt faces. And I believe it will be even bigger than crypto in my eyes, but we will be well positioned for it. And I like robotics as well right now in crypto. It's a scam, but it's super interesting. And we've been researching it heavily in our groups. And we have a few very interesting projects.
Robotics is interesting.
Which we do in our research calls. A member of ours found it.
Yeah. So robotics, okay. Robotics. Yep. Let's see what...
It's super mainstream. Like everyone's talking about it. Tesla is starting with robotics. Everyone's starting with robotics. So it could be something interesting, but we'll see.
Yeah, like maybe to give you one principle, look for consumer technology. Yeah. If robotics starts to impact lives on a personal level, this definitely could be interesting.
I mean, it really has no place in crypto, but you know how it works. If things get hyped up in the real world, then
a proxy.
It's a proxy, exactly.
Yeah. All right, next question.
Have the major narratives changed since the end of last year? So when was the end of last year? 2024, end of 2024. What narratives did we have?
Like, okay, when we just take the moment, then it's just AI, right? AI agents.
AI agents and Dino coins, like XRP, Cardano.
Yeah. I think Dino coins will stay for a bit till we have like all the ETFs. I think this will, or at least till we have like the first major ETF. And depending on the success of it, it will either kick off another Dino season or will kill it completely. Mm-hmm. So if the first other crypto ETF is a success and leads to huge inflows, people will gamble on it and will overvalue the next upcoming ETF launches. So I think this could actually be interesting. Mm-hmm. But AI will come back 100%.
I think AI, like, did it change? I think the game has changed fundamentally since Trump came in. Yeah. And I believe the major narratives, they haven't changed yet because we didn't have any major new narratives since the end of last year. So there is no new narrative at the moment. So it hasn't changed technically because there is none yet.
But it will likely going to be like, there will be something new.
Of course.
So narratives, like we had AI first, then we had AI memes, then we had AI agents. So there will be always like a subcategory performing really well, while all the other coins within that like overall AI category will underperform. So like it will change a bit, I guess. But
Speaking about categories, are there interesting niches within specific narratives?
Damn, like AI agents, for example. Yeah, basically what we were just talking about. So right now, like when we just talk about narratives, we don't talk about fundamental plays, right? So we don't talk about, for example, about DeFi and then like...
It can be anything. I think this guy or girl is just asking like if do you see any interesting niches within specific narratives?
Damn, all right. So I think AI agents will have like huge comeback. Not necessarily the coins that went parabolic in December, but there are so many new things coming in AI agents. We are like also using it for like all other aspects in our lives. So AI agents will impact the world more and more and more. So AI agents is a promising subcategory. What else? I believe in real-world assets, you will also you have some potential subcategories like on-chain bonds and stuff like this. So basically where institutional interest could flow and people will maybe try to front run this, but this is something that you have to monitor. Right now, it's just speculation. So this is what I would say. And then maybe DEXs on new chains. So for example, on Base, which is not necessarily a new chain, but you get what I mean. And ecosystems overall. So I think like new layer ones, fundamentally necessary projects on those chains could be interesting as well. What do you think?
For me, I like the base chain and RWA on base. I like abstract. I like robotics, as we just said, which could be interpreted as a subcategory of AI because it's kind of a crossover between robotics and AI.
Yeah.
So I'm going to count it as a subcategory. But yeah, consumer apps and AI agents, still like it. I don't know if it's gonna go up again, but he or she just asked, are there interesting niches?
There are a lot of
I find this interesting. I don't know or necessarily think they will go up, but I like it. All right. This is a very good question, the next one. How do we create an investing process?
We covered that actually in the previous podcast. So what is a process? A process is basically a step-by-step system that for doing something in investing. This can be the picking coins part. This can be the entry strategy. This can be the exit strategy. So to make it general, you create a process by making mistakes, documenting those mistakes, and learning out of them, and creating rules and step-by-step systems which basically tell you what to do. So the problem right now that many people have is that they don't document their journey, so they don't know what their process is. So they make their mistakes over and over and over and over again. So you escape that death spiral by documenting your journey and then creating rules and frameworks out of that. So how do you create a process? Just document what you're doing, learn out of the documentation and create rules for the next investment. And then you basically follow this new process, make new mistakes, add new steps to your framework till the amount of mistakes gets lower and lower and lower. This is how you create a process.
Mm-hmm. For me, I would also include to, just read some classics like maybe Market Wizards.
Yeah.
There's a lot of help out there, how to create an investing process.
Yeah.
We obviously also talk about it. And I would start there with the classics and, maybe have some indicators, have some set rules when to get in, when to get out. And then it's just like Robin said, you have your set of rules, you have your set of indicators when you go in, when you go out. And then first of all, you always have to ask yourself, did I stick to the rules? Like, is it a disciplinary problem or is it a systems problem? And this you can answer by just analyzing your behavior, just like you said, just writing it down. And then, refining the process. It's a continuous, never-ending process, even for us.
Yeah.
Right? Our systems are good, but they're not perfect, and we strive for perfection. Yeah. Obviously, it doesn't exist. There's no perfect system in the world. Like even the best traders, they have maybe 50 to 60% hit rate. Yeah. And this is basically how you create an investing process. And do you maybe have a few rules, like some alpha that you can give them?
All right. So the first rule that you should have is never bet a lot of money on a high-risk opportunity, no matter how certain you are. Yes. Because like crypto is like there are so many variables that you can't control and that you don't know about. And like having that thought in your mind that you know everything and basically can play the game to peak perfection. This is a lie. You will never be able to do that. Never bet 100% of your position, of your portfolio. This would be one.
Also, if you have a small portfolio, it's not going to save you. If you bet 30 to 40% of your whole portfolio in a shit coin and you're going to hold it long term, you're going to lose all of your money or a lot of your money. So even if you think, okay, I don't have much money, I need to take super big risks, you're kind of right, but you're probably not going to do it in the right way. So you're going to get wrecked.
Yeah.
And for that, I would go the more, like you said, don't go in with so much size in the beginning because you probably don't know a lot about crypto in the beginning.
Understand that you will make mistakes.
Like we could do this, but when could we have done this a few years ago? No.
We tried it.
Yeah, we tried it. We got burnt.
And this is another rule, and this is stolen from Warren Buffett. Don't lose money. This is
rule number one.
When you lose money, this is so obvious, but if you lose 50% of your portfolio because of one bad trade, you have to make a 2x just to break even. And this is when you look back at your previous performances and never made it to X, you will soon realize that this is close to impossible for you to recover. And the time that you lose, the growth that you are missing out on, the opportunity cost of losing 50% of your portfolio on like one stupid mistake will not just cost you like the 50% of your portfolio, but also all the future gains. So understand that losing money now also decreases the amount of capital that you have to invest in the future, and also decreases the potential gains in the future. So you're not just losing out on 50%, but you miss out on way more by making one oversized mistake. So this is also another thing that I would say. Size your bets correctly.
Size your bets correctly, have a limit, have a stop loss in your head, or when you go into a trade and be like, okay, if it reaches this level, I'm out no matter what.
Yeah.
No matter what. If it hits this level, you're out. And it shouldn't be too high. It shouldn't be too high, maybe maximally 10%.
Yeah.
So you should be able to time the bottoms well, have some set rules, find some good indicators. There's a lot of use TradingView. Too many of you are using stuff like Phantom, CoinGecko. Go on TradingView, click on indicators. It's perfect for the beginning, right? Find some good indicators, trending indicators, oscillators. They will help you, okay? And this with some combined rules, and you should be, if you're not good, you're far from good, but it's a very good beginning.
Yeah. And just like, understand that you are the beginner. And this is not a problem, but it becomes a problem when you start investing like someone who's advanced.
Yeah.
Understand where your knowledge is and invest accordingly. And this is not weak. This is not missing out on opportunities. This is just playing the safe bet, which is not just a safe bet, but also gives you the opportunity to grow much faster in the future once you acquired the required knowledge. All right. I think that's...
What is the one skill that made you successful in crypto?
All right. I think like my technical understanding helped me a lot with being early in DeFi.
Mm-hmm.
So this, like my background in IT and also finance, this helped me a bunch. And you remember, like we didn't do much in university, but finance, we nailed it. So
yeah, true.
This helped us a lot to understand DeFi and be early to like a lot of good projects and also understand the risks. So yeah, if you could name that as one skill.
Yeah.
Yeah. What would you say?
For me, I would say I was very aggressive. So I always made a lot of money and then gave it back to the market. So I would just say discipline.
Yeah.
Number one, discipline.
Yeah.
And I also got it through other things, but it helped me just being disciplined. It helped me keep my money, because you'll realize that in a bull market, everyone can make money. And if you're good and talented and you're hungry, like we were, you can make a lot of money, but you can also give it back super quick. So the discipline makes you keep the money. And many of you maybe have lost some money in the last 2-3 months because things have been going down. So I can just recommend discipline. This is one of the skills that, was good for me. And I would say networking as well.
That's definitely a skill.
This and discipline, I would put it together on number one. Yeah. Because it just opens so many opportunities. You just make so much money. Yeah, for me, definitely discipline and network.
Yeah, but what made you successful in the first place? I think it was your discipline. This guy was literally he was disciplined from day one, and he was researching crypto every single day. Even when I was okay, yeah, let's do something else. Let's go partying.
Yeah.
He still made a lot of parties, but he was he was already kind of a nerd, I would say.
A bit. But right, for me, I was disciplined, but if you look at our discipline now,
yeah, it's crazy.
Now I'm disciplined.
Level, yeah.
For me, maybe for our age, we're quite disciplined.
Age. Yeah.
But if I compare it to now, now we're disciplined.
This is really
next level. But yeah, you're right. And also I think curiosity and the drive, and it's kind of like an obsession. I think it's this obsession.
Yeah, this as well.
It's like inside of you, like you want to become the best. You want to understand this. You want to make money.
Like, what was the name again for like this fear of never being good enough?
There's no word for that.
Shit, I think there was like a dilemma or something. This is basically what I would say was another like thing for me. Like always having that thought in my mind that I'm not yet good enough. Even if I made a bunch of money.
I'm Googling it. A word for not being good enough. Inadequate, unworthy, inferior, sufficient.
Word, like it's the description.
Not
for the
measuring
state.
up.
Yeah, whatever. So this was basically the state I was
Not
in.
built for it.
Like this constant fear pushed me forward and forward and forward to get better and better and better and better. And because we were only like us two in the beginning, like we had no one that we could compare ourselves to.
True.
And we didn't know on what level we were till we started to realize that a lot of people were below us in terms of knowledge. But still then I always compared myself to people who were like more knowledgeable, and that just kept me going.
Something that a guy called Alex Hormozy said, and it's not like your success, but I kind of disagree, but I like the approach that he says, and he's like, you're not the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with, you're the sum of the 5 people you compare yourself to. So it's kind of true also.
Yeah, that's true. If
both play a role.
If you look at the people that were in our circle back then when we started to kick things off, like
no one.
We love them, but still, like if this statement would have been true, we wouldn't be there or wouldn't be here today.
I'm gonna send them this video, Rob.
So yeah, I also don't think like it's internal factors that give you the drive.
Yeah,
and
you
your
need
surroundings.
Work ethic, fire in your lungs, in your blood. Anyways, last question. How much? I think this guy misspelled it. He said, "How much did you spend on couches?" But I think he meant on coaches.
Very expensive.
Yeah, it's comfortable.
So how much did I spend on coachings? Can't say exactly, but I would say it was above $120,000.
Oh yeah, true.
Yeah.
I was thinking lower, but because we spent some coachings together, so yeah, we paid a lot.
On that, yeah, 120,000. Like I saw a video from another guy who made like
6 figures.
It's 6 figures definitely, but you can spend, and we will spend more, way more.
I want to spend millions. I looked at an interview of a very successful guy. I sent it to you as well.
Yeah, I looked at it.
Yeah, he spent 1.7 million on coachings.
I think actually it's not that much
for his net worth. It's not.
Yeah. You just have to find like the right person who teaches you, because like there's a difference between someone who knows something which is valuable and someone who's able to also explain that in a way that others understand it.
Yeah.
So having someone who's able to teach and not just has the understanding of it, is like understanding of whatever you want to get the coach for. This is very important. So yeah, this is one thing I would look at. Do you want to add anything there?
Not really.
All right. So last time you had some quick questions for me, but the problem is that you actually took a lot of the good questions. So let's start with some fire questions.
So you'll ask me.
I will ask you.
Should I not ask you them?
No, I will ask you.
All right.
Okay. So you're either never able to trade meme coins ever again, or you will be you can never invest into Bitcoin anymore.
Oh, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. But yeah, I would rather not trade meme coins.
Damn, I thought you said that. All right. The ability to always have perfect entries or perfect exits. Which one would you choose?
But like perfect.
Perfect. Like you always nail the bottom or you always nail the top?
Nail the top.
Nail the top. All right. Kobe or Arthur Hayes?
Kobe.
MacBook or Windows?
MacBook. All the way. All the way.
Dubai or Greece?
That's a tough one. Greece.
Greece. Even with the perfect crypto tax setup. All right. 1 hour talk with Buffett or a 1 hour talk with Taleb?
I think Taleb.
Taleb?
Yeah.
I thought that you would say that. Robin Buffett.
I like it.
What does he know?
Who's that guy? It's probably stupid, but
I think Talat is an interesting person to talk with,
Yeah.
even if he's a bit brainwashed. I don't know if I can say that on YouTube, but yeah, whatever. Yeah, let's skip that last part. Let's not go deeper into it. Okay, so I think I don't have any more questions. Do you want to add anything?
Fun. It was fun. No, that's it.
Yeah, perfect. All right. So if you have questions that you would like to get answered in the next podcast episode, just drop them as comments below this video. Jacques and I will go through them and filter out the best ones. And yeah, if you haven't subscribed yet, do that. Activate the bell. And with that being said, Jacques,
See you in the next video.
see you in the next video. Bye-bye.